Welcome back everybody, my name is Nick930 and this is a new top 10 segment I'm introducing to my channel. Since we have the new World War II Call of Duty being revealed officially this Wednesday, and the leaked promotional material seems to hint strongly at the new game featuring some sort of epic D-Day battle, I felt it would be fun to take a look back at the Call of Duty franchise as a whole and pick out the biggest, most epic battles in the franchise. For this list, we are taking a close look at every Call of Duty available on PC, so Call of Duty Finest Hour and Call of Duty 3 will not be considered. So let's just jump right into it with my number 10 pick.
They want a fight! We give them a fight! Move out!
Pyrrhic Victory is the very first mission in Black Ops 2, and despite the game taking place mostly in the future, it actually takes place in the 1980s. You play as Mason in southern Africa during the Angolan Civil War, and you ride on the side of an armored troop carrier into a massive open field. Soon after arriving at the scene, you're rushed by MPLA soldiers as they rush you with AKs and machetes. You eventually disembark from the troop carrier and are instructed to defend against the attack. The battle features hundreds of soldiers, some tanks, and a friendly gunship to help thin out the resistance.
Don't slow down! They just get to the wall! That's where the rally point is!
Goalpost is the 9th mission in Modern Warfare 3 and takes place in Hamburg, Germany during a fictional World War III scenario. You arrive in a Black Hawk helicopter as tons of Ospreys and hovercraft struggle to make a beach landing. When on the ground, you fight through the streets of Hamburg and eventually climb onto a tank's minigun and decimate hostile Russian forces occupying the streets. Stalingrad is the 15th mission in the original Call of Duty game, and features an interesting twist on the typical massive assault style mission. In this mission, you play as a Russian soldier in the initial attack on German fortifications at Stalingrad, as you attempt to retake Red Square. After barely surviving the beach landing, you are placed in a line of soldiers, and every other soldier is given an empty rifle, while the others are just given an ammo clip. You, of course, are given just the ammo clip and tasked with attacking the enemy empty-handed. You need to move quickly and deliberately from cover to cover as you work alongside your comrades to overrun the enemy, and it's definitely one of the game's most intense moments. Homecoming is the 5th mission in Call of Duty Ghosts and challenges the player with defending a modern-day LA coastline against the battalion of Federation soldiers. The Federation throw massive hovercrafts, tanks, gunships, and waves of infantry at you as you try to defend with machine guns and an A-10 Thunderbolt drone. Call of Duty Ghosts is one of the few recent Call of Duty titles to feature a battle of this scale, and one of the reasons I feel Ghost Campaign is vastly underrated. Now, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 occupy a good portion of this list, and for good reason. Say what you will about how ridiculously over-the-top the storyline was for those games, but they make for some very epic battles in every Call of Duty game. And it's hard to beat Whiskey Hotel. In Whiskey Hotel, you regroup with friendly American soldiers outside the White House in Washington, D.C. as a last-ditch effort to try and re-establish communications after a massive EMP explosion. The White House's lawn is turned into a massive battleground, and enemy soldiers shoot down at you from tons of fortified positions in the White House itself, making for an intense and memorable firefight as you try to rush through the building to try to stop a friendly bombing raid on the city. Iron Lady starts off slow with a straightforward shootout at the small monument in Paris, but after a few scenes where you take control of the AC-130 and destroy tons of enemy infantry and vehicles, the camera zooms back to the ground where you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower itself. You're forced to fight across the bridge towards the partially destroyed wonder of the world, and you need to defend against waves of enemy soldiers and armor units. After exhausting all other options, the Americans are forced to bomb the tower itself, causing the entire structure to collapse right next to you, making for one of the most intense and epic battle sequences in the entire game. In the Battle of Khe Sanh, you assist American soldiers in defending a combat outpost from a North Vietnamese attack. The battle is incredibly over the top with hundreds of NVA foot soldiers, tanks, and a friendly Huey chopper just obliterating everything. It's definitely earned a top spot, and it's one of the few times we see a large-scale battle from Vietnam in the Call of Duty franchise.
Is that one of ours? Fuck! East Ridge! There's a 200mm on the point! Stay with it, Marine! Plan's gone to shit! I told you it's got a defensive...
Little Resistance has always been one of my personal favorites. We've seen several different representations of the massive D-Day invasion from several different games, but we rarely see anything involving the Pacific theater of World War II. In Little Resistance, you take part in the Battle of Peleliu, in the initial beach landing, and are shown a very different side of the war. The Japanese soldiers are dug in deep in dirt bunkers and pop out of the grass at you with surprise banzai charges. This is definitely one of the more brutal battles on this list, and still, to this day, one of my favorites. No list of major Call of Duty battles would be complete without the mission Of Their Own Accord. This mission is very similar to Whiskey Hotel, but is much larger in scale. The mission itself was actually a surprise to most players, as it's never really revealed where you are until you step out of the underground bunkers at the start of the mission, and see the ruins of the Washington Monument. The trench line then turns towards a huge enemy fortification at the Department of Commerce building across a huge war-torn field filled with trench lines and craters. This battle has always stood out as one of the most memorable Modern Warfare battles, and easily makes the number 2 spot on this list. Now, before I show you guys my number 1 pick, here's several honorable mentions.
Clips, go weapons free!
Let's get to the tower! Go, go, go!
And finally, we all knew this one was going to get number 1 simply because it's about as grand and massive as it gets. The Battle of Pointe du Hoc. Instead of delivering another interpretation of the Omaha beach landings, Infinity Ward delivered a different story about a group of 200 plus American soldiers that landed on the beaches of this high cliffside and were forced to climb nearly 100 feet while being shot at to try to disable German gun emplacements. This battle is portrayed incredibly well even for a game that came out back in 2005, and is still very intense. This has always been one of my favorite missions and definitely deserves top spot for the biggest battle in the Call of Duty franchise. And I hope we get a new D-Day mission with the new World War II Call of Duty. And I'll be sure to have a full trailer analysis for you guys tomorrow when it drops, so be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.